listening, where every week we talk about retirement. So feel free to give us a call at 612-504-8400 or havenfinancialgroup.com, where there's all kinds of tools, calendar of events, and all the upcoming things that we're going to be doing. Kim, good to be with you again.
It's great to be with you as well. And can you believe here we are in the first weekend in November, falling back when it comes to time. And I think falling back when it comes to temperatures as well. It's been a great fall, but unfortunately, we all know what's coming, right?
We do. Here in Minnesota, we got spoiled last year. It'll be interesting to see what kind of a winter we get. But, it'll also be nice to have these political ads hopefully off the television and the radio, because my goodness, they seem like they've been going on forever.
Larry, I feel like people are just tired, right? Kind of tired and just I'm ready for a great holiday season, truth be known.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of that stuff I saw at the store is already out. And you know how fast the end of the year goes, which I'll tell listeners, that's why the timeline, and we'll talk more about this, of certain things that need to be done or addressed here before the end of the year. You and I will talk more about that as those timelines come. We don't want to miss opportunities.
Right. Absolutely. Today's show kind of looks forward, though, to 2025, because we're going to talk about some of the tax repercussions that the new year will bring and some of the changes. I was taking a look at the show today, and in this first segment, we want to talk about Social Security and the COLA announcement and how that affects your retirement. Then in the second segment, we'll discuss tax brackets for 2025. We do know that they are changing. Tax mistakes and what that might cost you in retirement. And then finally, we're going to wrap up the show with a major expense that many people can plan for, and that is college. And you and I both know, Larry, college is a major expense.
I know it very well, Kim, with 4 of them in college, one place or another. So it's a major expense. And what can you do? How do you plan? Well, you start early and to the best of your ability, do the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get started, though, by talking about Social Security and the administration officially releasing the COLA numbers for 2025. Why don't you explain to everybody what that is and where we stand?
Yeah, you and I know that we do lots of classes on Social Security because it's a major decision and it should be an educated decision. Every year, the trustees report comes out in October. It just came out here October 10th, I believe it was, and it was announced that there was a 2.5% cost of a living adjustment, which is an increase. It's meant to keep up with inflation, especially for retirees. They're on a fixed income and all the expenses are higher with food and housing and clothing. A lot of retirees rely on this, and we've seen some really nice increases in recent years, because of the inflation numbers that you and I have talked about now for a long time. So people reflect last year of 3.2, this coming year 2.5. Some of you remember the 8.7 we had when inflation was at its peak. And all these are based upon the CPI index, so the Consumer Price Index for urban wage and clerical workers, and they compare it every year in the third quarter. So these summer months are the major months where they really measure, and then they come out with that announcement in October.
Mm-hmm. Well, for a lot of people, they hear 2.5 as compared to last year, which was over 3, and they might feel a little bit disappointed. I guess the flip side of that is that that must reflect inflation, which going down would be a good thing for everyone.
It would. Obviously, the prices just don't seem to be going down. They say that inflation is going down. I'm always interested to see what they put in that formula, but 2.5 is still good. Now, critics would argue that it lags cost of living adjustment with Social Security does lag behind the real actual inflation. Some estimating that over the last 14 years it lags about 20% behind. So it doesn't cure everything, but it does help. But here's what I would say as we talk about Social Security. Again, check out our classes online. We're very big into it throughout the whole year. Should you take it at 62? Should you wait till 70? What's your full retirement age based on birthday? All of these things the old thing that people say, I want to sock it to the government and take it early. That may make sense or it might not make sense. And you want to make a good decision. Do you need the money? Are you going to continue to work? I just this past week had somebody come in and They're working, they make really good money. They're here from Burnsville, and they turned their Social Security on while they were working in their peak earnings years. It was a grave mistake and they regret it. But at this point, there's nothing they can do. We want to avoid those mistakes.
Right.
It's based on circumstances. It's not based on your best friend or your brother and sister. It's really, if you're a married couple, it should be a we decision, not just a me decision.
Mm-hmm. Let me go back to COLA for just a second. We have 2.5%. What will you be telling your clients about preparing for that increase?
Well, there's not a lot of preparation really needed. Hopefully, we've done a good job to map out an income and distribution plan. Their paychecks, the Social Security paychecks, are going to go up, and there's that expectation, so they can count on it. But it's why, especially as we're visiting with those planning for retirement or in retirement, to come up with that income distribution and tax plan. And I remind listeners, we are in fourth quarter. The tax planning, fourth quarter, Roth conversions, the RMDs, inherited, all these things. If you're not having those conversations, or throughout the show, if you have question marks in your mind, did I do that? Do I need to take a withdrawal? Don't leave it to the last week of December, because it's not going to happen the way you're going to like it. So planning accordingly. Again, a failure to plan is a plan to fail, not because we want to, but again, we want to make sure we're making good, sound decisions. And as it relates to Social Security, the reality is, it's been politicized for years. It's still here. But I strongly encourage listeners not to rely on Social Security as much as a lot of Americans do. I'm not saying that's bad, but too reliant on the government Social Security system may not bode well for retirement. So you got to consider those other income sources and how they go together with Social Security for a variety of reasons: income and taxes and provisional income. It's all part of that equation, and that's why Social Security is so important.
So while we're on the subject of Social Security, let's talk a little bit about Haven Financial Group does informational sessions around the entire Twin City area in an effort to just make sure that people are informed about Social Security, which is like you say, for some people might be the basis of their retirement. You're hoping it's not, but it may be. But it's certainly important to just about everybody who goes into retirement. Talk to us a little bit about those informational sessions and where people can find out about them.
Yeah, there's classes we teach throughout the year. We teach them at community centers, senior centers, at some of the colleges locally. It's all the education. There's no cost. And, believe me, people are seeking education because, what classes do they remember that taught them how to do this, or when have they ever retired before? Social Security is an important part of your retirement strategy, not the only one. But it's not as simple as people think it is. It's not a set it and forget it and leave it. Things change, not only in Social Security, but taxes and all the things that we do on 5 days a week, related to retirement. You should be up to date with these changes. You don't want to get left in the dust. There's going to be new legislation that comes down the pipe. And it's not just for new folks that we visit with. This is for our existing clientele too, because we want everybody to have the same opportunity, the same information. And that's why I encourage, if you're listening, give us a call, 612-504-8400. There's never a cost to have a conversation with us. Set a time. Again, there's no strings attached. You have nothing to lose. But I would say anything to gain, because many people are, number one, not getting the education, and they're not getting the attention they truly deserve.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, oh gosh, I hit 62 or maybe I hit 65 and I'm just going to flip it on and that's that. But there's consequences associated with when you start to draw your Social Security. We talk about this pretty frequently, and those are kind of strategies that, the folks at Haven Financial can take a look at your situation and tell you when you can maximize your Social Security benefits and when it might be best for you to flip that switch. You heard Larry say just a moment ago that he met a lovely couple who actually flipped the switch a little too early and they regretted that. And there's not much you can do to back up. So it's important conversation to have, one of many related to Social Security. And at Haven Financial Group, they are experts. The number again is 612-504-8400. Call and set up a free consultation and talk with members of the Haven Financial Group expertise about your Social Security as well as your entire retirement plan. You can also go to havenfinancialgroup.com. Take a look there and see when some of these educational seminars are taking place and where. They are free and they are open to anyone. You just need to sign up before showing up. All right, Larry, when we come back, Lance Larson, CPA there at Haven Financial Group, is going to be our guest, and we're going to discuss the tax brackets for 2025 and how they are changing. This is the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.